That was a punish. Do you see for how long he is open for a counter attack, like retaliation? So people telling you you can use this move like nilly-willy as keep out? Absolutely not. Heihachi, however, tied with Devil Jin, I would say, has to think the most about his neutral. Devil Jin and Heihachi, they have no space control with their big swings, like their neutral buttons. Be it Rao Thrust, Demon Uppercut, forward 3, back 4. Like, no matter what I do of all of this stuff, you do a tiny little step and I am dead. I'm literally a dead man, yet again, and then I'm resurrected. So Devil Jin and Heihachi, they actually play a lot around the electric, which is actually not bad for them now, because now they can compete with the other Mishimas. Well, Jin excluded now, but they can now compete with Reina and Kazuya, in that if I have equal timing to you, my electric is just as fast, because I have a perfect electric now. And Heihachi, even more than Devil Jin, likes moving around like this with the electric, because the electric for Heihachi is so much damage. He has the highest damage out of the Mishimas, so you're quite content with Heihachi moving around like this, throwing electrics, because it's gonna hurt so much. But outside of that, just like Devil Jin, you have to be super careful. And I don't really do anything anymore. In Tekken 7, you had the toxic demon uppercut that you could just throw out nilly-willy. It was basically homing, would track a 180 around Heihachi, I shit you not. Forward 3 had crazy tracking. You know, you had a lot of dumb buttons. And you had very strong homing in back 4. But all of that is gone, you know. Your old back 4 was 18 frame startup, knockdown normal hit, counter hit launcher. You don't have that. Now you have this, which is 6 frames slower. And if you get jabbed while you're doing this move, well, congrats, you are now airborne in juggle state, and you are about to lose half your health bar if there are walls. And if you want to lock down with a 14 frame homing, which is a high, like this, you have no range. And all of your jab down front, they have no tracking. They track in Tekken 7. So this is quite similar to Devil Jin in that you have to be so careful with the neutral. The other Mishimas, they can throw big swings from far away, but with Heihachi and Devil Jin, the neutral is very careful and calculated. So move around, try to get an electric in, you have huge damage. But outside of that, my advice if you try to play Heihachi now is to play smaller tekken. You can't overextend with this character at all, because it's like someone said, oh, back 4 is a great keep out move. It's literally the worst keep out button in the game. Again, I'm just trying to stress how careful you have to be with the neutral when you're starting out with this character. I'm gonna record a good looking Tekken Monk Heihachi is gonna do 1 into back 4. So again, on block it's -8, which is still not good for Heihachi, right? But it does have pushbacks. But if this move whiffs, I can't think of a move that's worse on whiff. Like on block, you see he stops. But again, like a real martial artist, if he whiffs, he fully commits to the motion. And he kicks around, swings his entire hip around. And during that state, he can't block. That's it. As you can see, that was a punish. That was a punish. Do you see for how long he is open for a counter attack, like retaliation? So people telling you you can use this move like nilly-willy as keep out? Absolutely not. And that's the thing with the new Heihachi. You live and die by everything you throw. Everything is so vulnerable. It's the most extreme example I've seen of high risk, high reward. It's true when you look at his damage, S+ tier. It really is. But, like, if you whiff that attack, like, which is very likely to happen considering how weak the buttons are to movement, like, you are going to die. And back 4 will track sidewalk left. We'll track it. But if we step to the right, you have the same problem. Takes a million years for you to recover. And your opponent can do anything to just kill you. In the neutral here with Heihachi, you move around. Perfect electrics if you can do it, or you will work towards it, because electric... I think electric is the most important to Heihachi now. It used to be Kazuya, but now that you have a 13 frame with Heihachi as well, and the sheer damage output of the old man, it's the most important. Perfect electric is the most important to this character now. Like, you will learn how to do it. You know how Kazuya now has, you know, you block a rage art, and Kazuya gets down for 1-4 into steel pedal into Oki. You don't really have a really good option here with Heihachi. When someone is minus 15, you want to fucking launch them. If you're far away, throw electrics, but then try to either wait for your opponent to initiate, or you will move in with forward dashes into block, and then you will start throwing small tekken at your opponent, which is low committal attacks, right? Like jab or down for the 1, and now you will try to start your offense. You'll note that this is how high-level Devil Jin players play as well, because they can't get away with anything from this range. Every single attack they have has so many problems and has so much counterplay that it's just like, no, don't even try. Move in and play smaller Tekken. So that's how you would play the neutral with Heihachi. Your lows are insanely bad. I do like to use the Hellsweep as initiation, and this is because if you stick to a single sweep, it is actually +8, which is a really nice advantage, but also it's almost like a fully homing attack. And people are going to want to step you when you play Heihachi. So actually dashing into this, it's not a bad option. Like, it's still def on block, but people in general don't want to duck Heihachi due to how hard hitting your mids are, right? Mostly they're gonna want to try and step you, and this shuts that down. So it's a little bit like a Dragunov situation, or how, not the new Dragunov, but Dragunov in Tekken 7, he would use down 2 to shut down stepping. He doesn't need to do that anymore. He has Sneak 4, the best move in the game, etc. He has so much now. But with Heihachi, you do want to adapt some of that same philosophy as Legacy Dragunov players had. Like, use a low to shut down stepping. And again, that +8 is really nice. Gives an uninterruptible forward 3, should you want to take a Kamei mix-up here. This is in general a move you want to spend some time with. It's a bit like Reina's Raiden, forward 4-2, where you want to react quickly to what happened. If it hit, you know, you're going to win God Kamei. If it hits, you do the 1-1, right? And you have a heat engager, and you have a mix-up. Although heat engager situations are not very strong for Heihachi due to your very limited 50-50 utility. It's just not very good. So in my opinion, heat engager, I mean, it's always nice, you know. You get a full bar of heat and you can start throwing your heat options, which are really nice. But, of course, this situation means so much more for his son, Kazuya, or Jin, who have disgusting 50-50 utility. If it hits, again, 1-1. And you want to note, if it's blocked, now it's going to be a mind game. Just like Jin, you can actually cancel this. You know, like Jin does a Zen cancel. You can, if you want to, cancel this by, just like Jin, you hold down to go into Win God Kamei, and then down forward to cancel into a crouch dash, right? And then you can hold back immediately. And it's a really nice cancel, and that's the Kamei cancel. The Kamehameha cancel. Note that this will not save you from eating a jab. If you execute this perfectly, which is quite a bit of execution, you leave an 11 frame window. So Kazuya can actually back one to you in the face, everyone can jab check you, but they have to jab immediately, right? So it's a mind game in that jabs will lose to power crush. Right? If we try to jab. And of course, you have an unbreakable throw here if they respect you. So it's quite the mind game. Note that if you commit to this power crush, they can use a throw to fuck you up. A throw on block will beat every option you do. But again, if you do a throw and you cancel into Weivu, you'll beat the throw. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into that stance play. And 1-2 is still very nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't track as much as it used to. But it's nice to have from a jab here into a mid that's only -2 on block. And 1-2 into stance mix-ups. 1-2 is very nice. It's mid. It's -13. So again, you'll eat this punish, for example. This forces crouch. So Kazuya can actually twin piston this shit. So again, it's very matchup dependent. But in terms of the smaller buttons you do, you just can't play like old Heihachi. Old Heihachi was kind of toxic to play against, you know, with the Demon Uppercut, with 1-1 being -1, down for the 1 being -1. All of this stuff is -5 now. So it's very sluggish and clunky compared to old Heihachi. So you do have to play around more with stances. It's way more mind games now. With that back 4, again, I like to use it up close when I've checked the opponent a lot. And now you'll try this. You just want no opportunity for this to whiff. Again, I'm trying to get this out for those of you starting out with Heihachi now. Don't do the bad habit of like, well, I have a low, and it's this one. This low is the worst fucking habit. And I played against really strong players yesterday, like tournament quality, I would say. And holy shit, did it bite me in the ass throwing this stuff. Don't do the bad habit of starting to do this. And it will feel good in like beginner and intermediate ranks. You'll be like, dude, I have a low actually. Oh yeah, chunky. But if you do find yourself in higher level one day and you start throwing this, and you will give away so many rounds when people start blocking this on reaction, because quite a few high level players, they can see this every time due to its obvious animation and coming out to 23 frames. Even I, with average reaction speed, when I look for this, I can block it. It's, of course, -18 on block, and you die. It's like even worse than it was in Tekken 7 as well, because, again, in Tekken 7, you had this pretty dumb mix-up, actually, when you did this. It would give +6, and it will leave them right next to you. And you could do this sweep into this. And it was a really dumb flowchart. It was effective even in high-level play. You'd see Heihachi's do it. Pretty lazy gameplay. This is just, they removed that. They nerfed down back 2. And that, oh, it throws them super far away. You see? And that +6 is just nowhere near as valuable anymore. Because we're so far away. So even a pretty shitty low was gimped even further. And also this, of course, loses to stepping. So, yeah, if I do this into this old flowchart, this sweep now needs a clean hit to trip. In Tekken 7, this will trip no matter what, so now you need to be clear. And this, of course, is a launch punishable low. So, those of you starting out with Heihachi, do not start using this shit. Do not do it. The only low you wanna commit yourself to is this one, for aforementioned reasons, and then damage free is decent. It's decent. And also, Win Pod Kame 4 is a decent low. I think it's -14. It's decent. So you'll use that in your mix-ups. Also loses to stepping, unfortunately. But everything does with this guy, just loses to stepping. Try to rely on poking and timing and scoring counter hits on your opponent. That is how you try to play this character. Your lows are astonishingly bad. It's a bit like Brian, where we try not to use lows, and our hatchet to open up our opponent, it's our last option. Don't do Demon Uppercut. It has much less pushback than Tekken 7. They can even electric it. Everyone can kill you now for this move. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of down for twos and hop kicks will hit now. And it has no tracking. In the neutral, again, don't throw out buttons like a madman. If you want to do something like this, which again is a huge launcher now, into 1,000,000 damage, and it's still a very respectable -3 on block, just like Kazuya's. Kazuya's has slightly more tracking, but wave dash into it. We don't wave dash because it looks cool. Well, it looks cool. Okay, it does look cool, okay? You want to do it super quickly so everyone jizzes and nuts their pants. But also, like, a lot of people think, like, oh, wave dashes look cool. Kazuya's wave dash because they want to apply a 50-50. No, they apply wave dashes because they want to control neutral space. Wave dashing realigns with the opponent, should they move. And they really want to move against Heihachi because you have no tracking. So that's why you wave and then you commit to a button. Because that gives the least amount of possibility for your opponent to score a sidestep on it. So again, wave dash, really important for this character. Even if you just commit to a down for 1, it means a lot to just wave once into it. Or a while standing 4. It just means a lot to do that. Can forward 4 into Wind God Kamei, does not change for frames, you still go into a +4, and then you have a Kamei mix-up situation that we discussed before. Do learn to confirm though here, very important, just as important as the forward 3 confirm. Did it hit? 1-1. Was it blocked? You don't do fucking 1-1, right? You'll apply some form of mind game on your opponent, as we discussed. But with the forward 4, it's very important to learn to recognize this crouch thing. That animation. It hits them crouching, they'll go ah! And hold the ground. And here you have time to visually confirm this and press the 2 button. You have very generous time here. Okay, oh, it hit, and I fucked it up. So on reaction, hit, oh, it was crouching. And you do the Wind God Kamei 2, which is a real mid special electric that launches the opponent. Immediately screws them. This is -10 on block, which is why you want to learn to confirm this. And then you'll take your combo. So this is extremely strong, right? But do know that forward 4 is 19 frames of commitment and loses to the tiny sidesteps to both sides. But I would say that is very important to learn how to do. In terms of confirming 1-1-2, your wall splatting flash punch is also one of your most important tools. If you see 1-1 connect, you want to hit confirm that. You're never throwing this full sequence if the initial 2 hits are blocked. Because this is -17, if that is blocked, a high-level player will kill you. So again, don't get into the habit of always finishing this string. So you note that it connects, aha, you add the final part, and then it fucking hurts. Up forward 4 will be your homing button, right? But again, it is risky. If they jab, you die, right? You can get very easily checked out of it. A lot of characters in this game have very strong poking, stronger than your poking. If you think they're going to step, can be a good option. Gives a guaranteed follow-up. You can wave into Omen for the big boy, big testosterone. But due to the back turned effect, you can play around with some interesting mix-ups here. Omen at 4-4-2 will give an Oki situation. Down 4 is an easy, high damage follow-up. With stuff like this, you can catch from back turn. Sidestep 2 into Thunder. You can play around with some interesting stuff. I'm pretty sure you can apply like stance mix-ups as well. And your stance mix-ups is also something to think about at all times. Let's say I block a low poke. This one is -13, so here the optimal punish will be while setting 1 into Omen. That's going to be the best Heihachi punish. But let's say this is something like Kazuya's down back 4, right? That will leave... I can't do while setting 1 now. So while setting 4-4. Remember that while setting 4-4 now, you can go into Wind God Kamei. Into mix-ups, right? So, something to remember to apply more pressure on the opponent, and it's just mind games. And it's kind of nice that, you know, how Lydia, a lot of characters can like auto-transition into stuff. Here you have the option of not going Wind God Kame or going Wind God Kame. And that has already like mix-up utility. Like his CD4-4, which of course has this mix-up in that if the first sweep hits, and again, I told you the strength of doing single sweep, very strong. But if you commit to multiple sweeps, now you have to understand, and this is not a minor detail, you lose all of the tracking. Single sweep, pretty much homing, but if you run in on your opponent and commit to multiple sweep mix-up, you have no tracking. So now if you're sidewalking left, and you're gonna look like a clown doing this, and everything whiffs, and you are going to die. So again, smaller tekken, and so you have to set it up carefully if you want to do a multiple sweep mix-up. Set it up carefully, because now you are going to lose the stepping. And then you apply this, and then your mix-up. But say you hit them with the neutral 4/4 tsunami mix-up. Now you get another, if you want to, Wind God Kame mix-up. If it hits, you are +6 and you get the Wind God Kame mix-up, which is really nice. It's a nice mix-up situation. I just want to give you some heat tips which are pretty nice, in my opinion. You want to pop your heat every round, no matter what. It frustrated me in ranked yesterday, where I play rounds and it's just very high level Tekken. It's very fast paced, and I'm all the time thinking hard about what I'm doing. It's a very tough character to play. Strategy-wise and execution, you always have to be on the ball. And then suddenly, you know, I haven't popped this. My opponent gets momentum on me. And I just realized how hard it can be, actually, sometimes when someone's steamrolling you to even just get up and pop a heat burst. You'd think you're guaranteed to have an opportunity to do it, but you just aren't. And it's the same, actually, with his transformation. Like, this transformation, you are not guaranteed to get an opportunity to do this. Like, this is 17 frame startup, and I shit you not, like, when people understand, like, oh, he's about to pop it, it's final round, he has 3 tokens, and you start with this, and a Steve just back ones you in the face. Or they do a hop kick, and I shit you not, you get fucking, you get killed. Or they do a throw. So my advice to you is these resources are so important to Heihachi that either, again, play the small Tekken at the start of a round, and then if you want to, you can pop this. But in my opinion, the best heat activation you can do for Heihachi is doing the big boy combos. And you pop it like here. I just dropped it. I fucked up the micro dash. I'm trying to do the best possible combos. But why, main man? Why do you do that? Well, because Heihachi finds himself in the same situation Brian does, in that your core strength is landing either well, almost always a timing-based counter-hit launcher. Be it a keep out electric, or you score a back 4, or you realign with a wave dash and you score your forward 3. And you fucking earned it. Because you played core Tekken. You played around timing. You placed it well, you got it. Or you know what? You called out your opponent mashing. A lot of people mash when they play Tekken 8. You called it out, bam! Now you're going to earn your damage. And you're going to get a fuck ton of damage, just like with Brian. So you really have to make it count. That's why, in my opinion, you will not settle for the easy stuff. You are going to go for the max damage. That's the whole point of a character, in my opinion. You earn your counter at launch, and now you're really gonna make it count. You're going to do 100 up to like 120 with a wall, 130, and then we're going to wake up with you in heat. And it's really gonna hurt. That's, in my opinion, how this character is meant to be played. He's very high risk at all times, but he's some of the highest rewards you're ever gonna see in this game. When you decide to main this character, he's a specialist character. Now, I would strive to milk out as much damage as I can. That's sort of a point of a character, and it's Brian finds himself in the same situation. But yeah, it's enormously execution heavy, but you can get there if you just work hard enough. But so if you can, this is the situation you're looking for. And you get to heat. Maybe I can just show the big baller combo, my new favorite. This one. 98. And now they wake up to me, heat Heihachi, right? This is 100 damage from a non-counter hit electric. And again, that's why I'm trying to say, like, Heihachi, electric matters the most now to Heihachi. The electric is his neutral, due to its damage output and the fact that he has a perfect electric now. So that's how I would try to activate heat. But you need to activate heat every round. Like, make sure you do, because you need that fucking token. Believe me, you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you fuck that up and it's like, oh god, I just died that round and I didn't pop a token. Like, you misplayed. So if you can't land that electric, do small tekken, pop the heat burst. Just make sure you do. Remember that heat burst loses hard to sidestep, so again, be very careful how you do this. And then once you are in heat, you have interesting stuff. Your homing is now super damaging and looks super fucking awesome. It's one of the coolest attacks in the game. And now it's +2 unblocked. Used to be -9, right? We completely lose our time. Super bad. Super bad. But so here, +2 unblock. And if this wall splats, I mean, good night, sweet prince. 89 damage. Half-life. Like, good night. So that's very strong. Your heat smash is one of the weakest in the game. This has poor reach compared to a lot of heat smashes, and it loses to tiny sidesteps. This, you have to be so careful about popping this. So again, small tekken, do it. Take your mix-up, right? But be super careful. Of course, if you do get it wall splats. Not like Jin's from like a football field away, but it does wall splat. And if you do get that wall splat, it's of course a lot of damage. Hold forward. Then back on 4. Wall combo. It does basically half-life. If you want a floor break, you will do the normal one. The guillotine. This will always, that's a hard floor break. Will always floor break, 50 damage. Very nice. But again, be very careful about your throwing heat smashes. And of course in heat, you can do crazy combo extensions with these dashes. Down 3-2 is a damage amplifier that I showed you. Down back 1+2 is super nice due to being... It's not as good as Kazuya's Shikue, but it's the same thing. It's an armored attack. It's like a shield, right? Parry. And it's very cool looking. Does chip and is neutral on block. Shikue is -9 on block. This one is neutral. But it's a special mid, meaning it can be guarded crouching or standing. But yes, you can use this as a parry effect. And also in heat, just like Reina, you will have a parry effect on Wind God Kamei. As you can see, just like Reina, Wind God Kamei will have an auto parry. So this is very, very powerful for heat mix-up utility. So anything that goes into Wind God Kamei, if they now try to challenge your stance with a high or a mid, they get blown up. Do note though that this is still beaten, right, by throws. So you gotta remember that. So Ultimate Heihachi, you have 3 tokens. As I said before, be very careful how you pop this. I don't do it at round start anymore, it's way too obvious. So what I do is, at round start, I don't press anything at all in general, because people can't help themselves, they mash at round start. And this is a true casino lottery. of this game. Don't believe people saying Hellsweep or Ford for free is a casino coin flip. It's always an educated guess. Yes, there you go. Educated guess. And you know, you have option selects around that. The real casino in Tekken 8 and in Tekken 7 is round start. Due to lag or input delay, when you start a round online, I swear to God, you can do a down for 1 and you can lose to a fucking down for 2. Because of some weird fucking RNG, casino RNG. So what I like to do, I like to not do anything at round start. Because people love to fucking mash. And if I start with a jab, I might fucking lose to a down for 2. Now, when I want to go ultimate form, I just wait. And when he's not doing anything, I might try and do this. Or I try to jab check and then I'll ultimate form. Due to if you're close enough, you get the stagger effect, right? You can actually also use this to try and counter hit people. If you have someone next to a wall and you think they're gonna press, it's gonna fucking wall splat them. So that's pretty nice. And also something nice is that if they've hit you, you've taken some damage, this will for free give you a lot of recoverable health. So don't mash, for many reasons, don't mash it out at round start. But let's say you have activated ultimate form. Now, very nice. I like to play it slow because if they do anything that's -12, like Claudio does a hop kick keep out, yeah, that's from a 12 frame. If we have a wall, it does like 80, 81 damage. It really fucking hurts. A lot of people actually, when you're ultimate form, you're gonna notice that if you play slow like this, which you should, you'll start throwing a lot of lows. I don't know why. I don't know. I think we're just so afraid of your these options. So I think just they start throwing lows. So look for that and launch punish. Ultimate form, your demon uppercut has tremendous reach. It does more damage and it has like infinite reach. But don't use this because it still is -16. It's still just as punishable. It's still just as steppable. Nothing happens to the tracking. And it's still just as poor on block. Don't use this move. Instead, again, use Ford for free. Because this one is actually enhanced in a really cool way. Compared to Demon Uppercut. Who gives a shit about enhanced reach? What Ford for free gets is +1 on fucking block. +1 on block. Oh yeah, this is the boost we're looking for. So Ford for free, super nice. And again, for a strong 12 frame, if you do something that's -12 but recovering crouching, guaranteed, right? 58 damage. Super nice. And then super abusable suddenly is Wind God Kame 2, because suddenly this is -3 on block with pushback. This move is now like super abusable. Oh god, and of course the Hellsweeps. Single Hellsweep is now -14 on block. It doesn't stagger on block, meaning, you know, if they block, you still get this 50-50 mix-up. So of course this is super dumb. So if you do this, and they block the second sweep, you are -10. But not only do they get, they don't get any 10 frame bow, they only get a big jab. Because they're crouching. So they don't get this at -10, all they get is this. For no damage. But it does not add tracking to the sweep mix-up. So yet again, you have to remember, don't play stupid with this character. Don't try and apply this sweep mix-up in ultimate form from this distance, because suddenly you have no tracking. Can be nice to do this, you know, and suddenly the single is just -14. Don't get launched anymore, you know, unless it's Jin, Kazuya, etc. But yeah, ultimate form, in my opinion, wait for your opponent to do anything that's punishable. Kablam. And it's so stupid. It's so strong. He's -12 or he whiffs anything. It's so good. If you want to max out the combos, it will now also involve Rashomon, charged up Rashomon Tailspin, which is not super easy. And of course, you want to max out for damage. You will do the golden Rashomon, which I haven't figured out yet. Can I do one? And when you get this one, it does 5 more damage, which is actually a surprisingly amount of extra damage. And you get a new voice line, and it's golden. You have Omen for 33 damage. This is the normal electric input. But if you do the old school stricter Omen input, this is a real Omen, you do 38 damage. And this is of course really gonna add up, you know, when you do stuff like his parry. Into this, you want to do the real Omen for maximum damage. And also, I can't believe I forgot to mention this parry. It's really, really nice. Absorbs like any mid and high. Just absorbs them. Huge window. Huge window. And then kablam into Heat Engager. If you do this in Heat, you get this nice knockdown. You can do Stomp or Omen. If they block this, it's like -11 on block, which is not that bad. But this is probably my favorite Heat Engager with Heihachi. Nice for defensive utility. Oh god, and I forgot to mention my favorite part of Heihachi. So, good job, main man. But it's the fact that this character just rewards people who are specialists and who have devoted so much time to Heihachi. Again, his offense is very strict and strategic. I hope I've explained that to you. You have to play him extremely carefully. He is super high execution. As I say this, I'm gonna land the golden Rashomon. Oh my god! I just did this in combos before. Golden Rashomon. Okay, 5 more damage and new voice line. It's very difficult. That's actually frame perfect. You have to charge it exactly to 1/60th of a second, and then let go. But I'm gonna practice this. Obviously, I like execution, so I'm gonna practice this. Heihachi rewards people who have a ton of matchup knowledge. If you know every matchup in the game, you can really make it hurt for your opponent in punishment. Like if you're -10, this can wall splat, right? I'm gonna remove ultimate. If you're -12, you get this. This used to knock down the Chrome Dome into Iron Hand or Omen, but now you get a wall splat here and knock down for 38 damage, which is very nice. And then, you know, ultimate form, you're gonna launch there. When you are in Heat, you can actually launch here with a Rao Thrust. Yeah, when you're in Heat, you also have access to launch here. And of course, while standing was buffed, in that you can get a stance mix-up here. While standing 1 into Omen is still there. You have 15 frame while standing launcher now. That deals amazing damage. And it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. That's all I wanted to say for a Heihachi starter guide. I hope it was slightly enlightening. I hope you're enjoying Heihachi. And just know that it's gonna be an absurd amount of work to make this character work. Might be the hardest character in the game, but holy shit, the rewards he gives you when you make the right read, the right call. Really hurts. So yeah, thanks for listening to me.